Welcome back to another episode of Baby Bump Life. It's Nurse Whit here again, and I am slowly ending our little mini series here about the hospital. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about things that you should bring home with you from the hospital. The first two items here, and some of these items actually I talked about in my last video about what not to bring with you to the hospital. If you haven't checked that video out, definitely check that out. So often I have seen moms leave these items at the hospital and we can't reuse them. We have to toss them out because they can't be used from patient to patient, and so it's just a waste. So you might as well take them home with you and use them at home. And I don't know if it's just moms forget or they aren't sure if they're allowed to take them or not, so I'm going to go over some of these items here with you. The first one, this is on the list as well of what not to bring with you to the hospital because they'll provide them with you, but definitely take them home too. And it's the underwear. It's the hospital underwear. They're super soft, and take them home with you because if you don't use them, they're gonna just throw them out. So you might as well take them, and then if they get, totally dirty, you can just throw them out. It's not like you're ruining your own. So definitely take those home with you. The next thing is pads, and I talked about that before too, not to bring a whole bunch of pads with you to the hospital because they will supply you with pads. So if you have some left over in your room, take them home with you because they're just going to toss them out and that's a waste. You might as well take them with you. And then while we're still talking about our things for mom, the next thing is the Peri bottle. If you don't know what this is, the Peri bottle is used after vaginal deliveries. You will spray down there because you don't want to tear any of the stitches, so you will use the Peri bottle. And then we actually found a use for it too with our little Hugo. Once he had his circumcision, the pediatrician told us just to kind of get a wet washcloth and squeeze that over top. And we just found that this was able to be used for that too, so we called it a baby bidet. And we would just kind of spray. We'd put a washcloth underneath and we would just spray using that. So we found two uses for it, but the Peri bottle, don't forget it. Make sure you take that home with you. The next thing, I don't have it here because I didn't get that in the hospital, but if you have a vaginal delivery, they will give you the Whit Hazel. They're little pads, cooling pads, to help down there, and then they'll give you Dermaplast spray, which is a pain relief spray. And don't forget those two things because you'll want those when you go home. And they have them at the hospital. Again, once they've opened them and they've scanned them under your name, they can't reuse them for somebody else. So make sure you do take those home with you. Just check the bathroom. Make sure you've gotten everything out of there. That's typically where those are left behind. So remember your Witch Hazel and your Dermaplast spray. The next thing is, if you do happen to have a C-section, hopefully you won't forget this because this should be around your belly when you're walking out the door, but is the binder. Now mine is a little worn because, I used it quite a bit. But the hospital will give you these abdominal binders for C-sections, and you're to wear those afterwards. Now, I've worked at several different hospitals, and they all purchase different brands, and I'm not sure exactly what brand this is, but this one is really nice. I know that there are some at other hospitals I've worked at that are a little bit cheaper, and I've actually seen them cause moms to break out in rashes on their, right across where their incision is because of the binders. So just be cautious. I mean, if it looks like it's a little bit cheaper, you may want to go out and buy one on your own. This one from the hospital I currently work at is really, really nice, and so I used it, and actually I was able to wash it. I had my mom help me hand wash it because one time I was holding Hugo and he peed all over me, all over this. So I had my mom hand wash it and we just hung it to dry and reused it. So anyways, make sure you take it home with you. Like I said, it should be around your belly, but if it's not, make sure you take it home with you, okay? The next thing, while we're still kind of talking about mama here, if you are breastfeeding and you see one of the lactation consultants and they give you a little thing of lanolin make sure you take that home with you. Typically, I think the hospitals are all giving Lanolin, but they may give you something else. This is just a nipple cream. It's to help with any cracking that you may have or soreness. But take these home with you because, again, we just have to throw them out, and that's silly to waste it. So take those home with you. I know I used Lanolin in the beginning. I wasn't going to use any other products at that time, and it worked really great because, well, I do live in the desert where it is very dry, and the Lanolin worked fantastic afterwards. The other thing, if you're planning on breastfeeding and you see a lactation consultant and they give you some of these are breast pads, so that if you have any leaking, you can put those into your bra. You may not have too much leaking because while you're in the hospital, typically you just have the colostrum, and unless you're there for a couple of days, then you may have that mature milk. But if you need any of the breast pads, you can ask the lactation consultant at the hospital, and they should be able to give you some of those, but just don't forget them. Take them home with you. Don't leave those in the room. The only other thing as far as for mommy that I don't have right here with me because it's tucked away in my storage since I'm not pumping anymore, but that's any breast pumping supplies. So if your baby happens to go to the NICU and they give you some breast pumping supplies, take those home with you, because even though you can't take that specific pump with you, we can't reuse those supplies, and maybe you could use them, or maybe they match the pump or are similar to the pump you have at home and you could reuse them. So definitely take those with you. I've seen too many of those get thrown away as well, and those are expensive. So if you need those, make sure you take them home with you. And then just a couple of things left here. These are things for baby. One of them is the good old bulb syringe. So make sure you take that home with you. The bulb syringe, the ones they give in the hospital they just happen to be a little bit better than the ones at the store typically. So just make sure you bring it home with you. They're going to give it to you. Take it with you, okay? And then diapers, wipes, and formula. If they give you any of those things, which they should, unless they may not give you formula if you're breastfeeding, but diapers and wipes, take them home with you. Please don't forget those. Too often those are left in the baby drawers of the crib that the baby is in. Take the diapers and wipes that they give you home with you, because gosh, that stuff gets expensive, and why should we have to throw that away when you could take it home and use it? So I hope that helps you guys. Just a few little things I wanted to let you know that you should definitely take home with you. And oh, I forgot my very last thing. This basin here is super helpful. Usually they give them to you in the hospital with like the goodies, like they'll put your supplies in it, or sometimes they may give it to you as a puking basin. If you haven't puked in it and it's still kind of nice, or you washed it out, definitely take it home with you. This is my one that I use over there, and I wash Hugo's bottles in it and his sippy cups. So it's just nice. I have a big farm sink, and even if you don't have a farm sink, the CDC recommends washing any baby bottles or parts in a separate sink or storage bin than where you would be cleaning meat or anything like that. So never want to clean the baby's bottles where there could be other bacterias or anything like that found on the raw meats. So it's really important that you make sure you are cleaning the baby's bottles in a separate area. And why not take this with you? Again, they just have to toss them out if they've been used in your room. So another good thing that you could take with you. So I hope that helps you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't checked out the first episodes in my hospital series here, definitely check those out. I'll put the links here for you guys. And make sure you subscribe and follow Baby Bump Life on all social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And recently I have my podcast up as well. So check it out. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'd be glad to help you guys. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye guys.